the regulation of all systems of the body is enhanced by proper breathing. And as we learn to be present, we'll be aware of how we are breathing. As I was talking about, to the teenager or to the beginner who's trying to understand these ideas, just thinking about one eye on the inside and one eye on the path, one of the things that we'll start to notice is, am I breathing? And one of the most common things that people will recognize is that they're not, that they are holding their breath and that they're resisting and they're shutting down and because they're overly functioning in a focusing sort of way in the mind. They're driving the mind into the predominance in their system. And I'm not talking about the witness observing mind. I'm talking about the thinking, analytical, driving, predicting, projecting mind. And while it serves some beautiful things, too much of a good thing becomes a not good thing. So one of the things that people will notice is that they're not breathing, and to remember to breathe in the belly, of course. I also highly encourage people to breathe from beyond the body to within the body to beyond the body, meaning inhale from beyond the body and exhale to beyond the body.
What does that feel like to you?
So it might be a spherical breathing. It might be a central channel breathing. So for instance, I'll invite people to breathe from overhead, just breathe from above your head as if you're breathing right down through the center of your brain, through the crown chakra, through the center of your crown, through the center of the brain, through the throat, to the heart, all the way to the belly. Just draw a breath. And it feels weird at first. He's like, I don't breathe in my head. So do. Just begin. Just intend it. And because there's an energy flow that is happening in that exact pattern. And that energy flow we would call spirit, or we would call it bioenergetic flow. We would call it quantum energy. However we want to speak about it. Bioenergetics knows that we can measure a flow of energy that comes down through the crown of the heart, the throat, into the throat, the heart, into the belly on an inhale. And then as we exhale down through the gut, through the tip of the spine, into the earth. And now inhale up from the earth, right up through the tip of the spine, into the belly. Big inhale, pull your shoulder blades together, drop them down, and exhale from the belly up through the heart, through the throat, to the center of the brain, and out the top of the head. So then we would inhale from overhead, through the center of the brain, down through the throat, to the chest, to the belly, into the body, and then exhale to beyond the body, down through the tip of the spine and into the earth. And then inhale up from the earth, up through the tip of the spine, into the belly, and exhale to beyond the body, up through the heart, to the throat, to the center of the brain, and out the top of the head. So that is dissolving the barrier between me and the rest, okay? Me and other. And so if I continue to breathe that way, it will change how I perceive self. We become a channel rather than an isolated separate self. We become a part of a continuum that is flowing from the unified field all the way funneling, channeling down to the earth, generating this whole toric field, projecting out into the world, and we're breathing in collaboration with that flow. We want to do that. It might also feel like a spherical breath. Someone inhales in the belly, keep inhaling into the chest, inhale a big sphere bigger than the body, and then exhale in every direction. Beside you, left, right, above, below, in front, behind. Inhale from every direction, right into the belly. Keep inhaling in through the solar plexus, up into the upper chest. Inhale bigger than the body, and exhale in every direction. Inhale from every direction, into the belly, up through the solar plexus, top of the lungs, bigger than the body. Exhale in every direction. It becomes this spherical breathing. Rumi I said that like I knew him, like he used to talk about this all the time.
Yeah, Rumi.
Me and Rum.
What a lad.
Would speak about the door is round and open. Do not go back to sleep. And it is a doorway through the dimensions. When I have gotten into these states, sometimes in very unexpected moments, this breath would happen and it would be breathing me. And all of a sudden, I could see energy fields around people. I could see through what was going on. And it was dissolving the barriers between the things that we perceive as separate, because they're not. There's really only one field here. So the breath in that fashion allows us to establish a reconnection with a greater reality. Instead of being a separate self walking through a greater reality, I am part of that greater reality. I am that. And then as it differentiates down into physical function and the physiology of it all, yes, the different nostrils switch patterns of breathing automatically in an hour's time. It will spend minutes over on the right and then minutes over on the left. And then for a few minutes, it will be in both. And then it will start a cycle over again. And it's constantly regulating all of the efforts that both components of the autonomic nervous system are responsible for and making necessary contributions to our uprightedness and our movement and engaging in the world. It's just that, the sympathetic system has gotten a bad rap, once we realized, it's all about the autonomic system, that bad sympathetic system, it's raging out of control. Yes, it is, but it's not, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We need those aspects of the system as well that generate the initiation of the movement of any system in your body. It's part of a very large principle that is quite beautiful, in harmony, in balance with the other. So breathing in the belly, opening the heart, breathing in the belly first, and then working our way into these upper lobes of the lungs is also important. We've emphasized in the last many decades belly breathing, which I 100% concur will change someone's life if they will just learn to belly breathe. If they belly breathe and then stretch open the solar plexus, it's going to soften their mind, their defensive, protective, guarding mind, much more readily, because the solar plexus is the seat of the mental body, just like we talked about this gut below the navel is the seat of the emotional body, the feeling body. We want to know how to get the mental body aligned with the feeling body so that it's not overriding the feeling body in our lives the way that it has been. And emphasizing this solar plexus softening is a beautiful thing that we can do with the breath to help our mind and our emotions come together so that we become more interested in this feeling self. It seems safer and more accessible. Seems like a better idea if I'm not running from a bear, that I could sit down and pay attention to how I feel. As long as there's a bear in the room with me and I perceive that that's true, even though there's no bear, I don't really want to stop and feel much. I just want to run or fight the bear. So in order to get the whole thing in harmony, we have to get the mind to recognize there's no bear. It's not a bear. And the sooner it can, by assistance through the breath, it can start to slow down the mind long enough to realize, you know what, in this moment, I'm okay. I actually, in this present moment, am fine. And as such, then the breath, in illuminating this mind-body connection, facilitates our ability to recognize that I'm okay. I don't need to know ahead of time. I'm flexible. I can go wherever we need to go. I can talk about whatever I need to talk about, or I can go do whatever I need to do. And if it's not on my schedule or it wasn't in the plan, I become spontaneous and free because these components of my system are now working together. And in that moment, then, we can direct our attention to that feeling self and do the work we were speaking about earlier. The breath facilitates that. The breath is a catalyst. I use these two terms with it. The breath of loving presence. So if it's a breath, it's going to help heal and integrate and bring you into a different reality. If you're breathing consciously. If it is loving, it will do even more, because love is the universal solvent. It's the vibrational frequency that is behind everything that we're looking at and feeling and touching and walking through. It's the first vibration when you compress the unified field coming toward physical form. The very first vibration compression creates a vibration. And that vibration is love. So everything else is built on love on its way to physical form. So let me just say a minute about what I mean by that. If you take the unified field and you start compressing that energy, you eventually get physical form. So the chair we're sitting in, it's energy just compressed. And this body that we're in is energy. It's just compressed. The water that we're drinking is energy. It's just compressed just a little less than the chair we're sitting in, obviously. So the breath blends those worlds. When it's loving, what we recognize is that unified field, when we start compressing it, it creates a vibration. The first compression creates a vibration that we call love. It's the vibration that we know as love. That's why we're so interested in love. That's why we love love, because it's the bottom line of everything. So, and then the presence in our body. If our conscious presence is in the body and we're breathing in these ways, it cannot not turn on the healer within. It does. It just automatically does, because it's the calling card for that innate intelligence to do its assessments and do its healing and let things unfold in such beautiful ways.